Alright, so this UPenn professor, Professor McKellop, has apparently made it a point to not call on white men whenever possible. In fact, a deleted tweet that was saved by her stated that, quote, "I will always call on my black women students first. Other people of color get second-tier priority, white women come next, and if I have to, white men," end quote. So do I even have to say anything about this? Is it not obvious that this is both sexist and racist? You know, there was a time where nearly all people would look at a situation like this and immediately and correctly identify it as clear-cut racism and sexism, blatantly treating someone worse based not off who they are as a person, their personality, their demeanor, or their behavior, but treating them differently solely on what body parts they have and what their skin tone is by definition racism and sexism. These are 18 to 22-year-old human beings who this professor is deeming unworthy to listen to, not because of what they've done or what their personal history is, but because of what they look like. And what this professor fails to realize is that this type of nonsense only serves to embolden real, actual racists. Despite the fact that real, violent, white racists are completely statistically insignificant in terms of numbers, when they make the claim that there is some sort of conspiratorial race war against whites, it is people like this professor who give them a shred of credibility and certainly inspire them to continue their delusional fight. And I think the root of the problem here is the distortion of the definition of racism that social justice types gleefully support. Racism is very simple. If you're judging or treating someone differently or poorly based off their skin color, that would be racism. This is not to say that historically blacks haven't been mistreated more than other groups. Anyone who knows anything knows that this isn't true. But to use that to justify treating some 18-year-old kid poorly because of his skin color is disgusting and purely illogical behavior. This is yet another classic case of repeating something over and over until people believe it to be true, no matter how absurd the premise is. It takes only one modicum of rational thought to see why this idea that it's impossible to be racist or sexist against white men is absurd. But instead, these social justice warriors choose to live in an echo chamber of delusions. It is where their movement will wither and decay, and we will all be better off for it. Thanks, and that's all.